Amber Menard. For those that do not know me, I'm your nutritional lifestyle coach, and I also own VibraFit here in Lafayette, Louisiana. So I want you to start off by thinking what I actually see after 20 years in this field and hundreds of conversations with women is that there's so many other women who are sitting there right where you are. You're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. You are not someone who just doesn't want it badly enough. You are someone who has given the wrong information, have been given the wrong information. So you've been given the wrong information and you've been incredibly hard working at it time and time again, diet after diet. And like last week before this webinar, I went back and read through a few of the emails. I had asked in one of my email lists, what was the biggest frustration for women right now with their energy and metabolism? And this is what comes back over and over. They say they eat well, they exercise, nothing changes, even though they're eating the same as they did before, they're exercising the same that they did before. At 2 p.m., they're reaching for something sweet, something salty, the extra coffee, all of these things, like by that 2 p.m. crash. And then when it's time to go to bed, you're tired, you're wired. And then almost every single woman I speak to, as we're speaking about these things, they give me the same message. I just think this is how my body is supposed to be. And guess what, ladies? This is not how we're supposed to be. So I want you to know that. I want you to know if you're live, say hello. If you're catching the replay, let me know where you're catching the replay in from. There's lots of things we're going to go over today, but for the main thing, I want you to know, we'll go ahead and give me about 30 minutes. Can I have 30 minutes of your time? If you want the replay, drop replay in the comments and I can send you the link so I can go ahead and email that replay out. You want to stay till the end. I have some goodies at the end. And also know I will be checking my, oh my gosh, let me see if I can check it on my phone. I will be checking the comments on my phone. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Yes. Okay, I am live and I think I can say hello, Alex. Hey, thank you for being here. So yes, I can see the comments. So periodically I'll hop in and I'll check the comments. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I am Amber Menard. I have a degree in dietetics. I taught aerobics through college, and I've spent over 20 years now in the fitness and the wellness space. And I have messages going on, and we should know I need all of those off. Okay, so let's try this again. Just like I keep starting over and over again, do you keep starting over and over again every Monday, same diet? I also experienced that through college. Then came the years of kids. After I had first kid, then it was to take the weight off, second kid, take the weight off. And then it was also the same story over and over. It was I would binge eat on the weekends and then super strict Monday through Friday, binge on the weekends, super strict Monday through Friday. And what I was doing to my body was this horrible cycle that just ran me. I would work for 5 days for 1 or 2 days of poor choices, work super hard. And that messed my cortisol up more than anything else. And because of all of that, after I had my second child, I was also working with a physician who also has a passion for diabetes and obesity, Dr. Kathy Tracy, and she and I learned so much through the past years, and we still, chat with each other about things we've learned. So I've always known that low carb worked for me. Now that I understand the science behind it, I think it makes it a little bit easier for me to stick to. And it's not just because I have more willpower from you. I think it's because I had an idea of the science of how my body was working. And then I also began to feel how good it feels. I think some of us feel so bad, we don't know how good it is to feel good. You don't know how good you can feel, or you don't know how bad you're even feeling until you start feeling good again. And I am now at the point where I feel so good that that makes it easier for me to stick to. It's not necessarily just willpower. And so we'll go over a few of those things tonight. I want you to know that your body is not broken. This past Friday, I also attended a women's health conference for a day, and there was doctors and um, nurse practitioners, other, professionals there to just reassure me that what I feel that I'm going through with my body right now, and what so many other women, either my age, so it's perimenopause, just before perimenopause. I don't think I'm quite perimenopause yet. Then you hit the perimenopause, then it's menopause, and then postmenopause. Our hormones affect so much of that. So just remember, your body isn't broken. I think some of us just have the wrong information, and we need the right tools to help get your body feeling good again. So, what I've kind of figured out is the real reason standard advice fails this specific group of women. It's not about effort. The whole calories in, calories out, that's another conversation for another day. That's what I did learn in dietetics. And actually, when I was in school for dietetics, I realized I could not out exercise a bad diet. Because, I mean, of course, in college, we think, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll just eat what I need, but then I'll go teach aerobics classes. And so I can out exercise. That doesn't work. For specific groups of women, especially midlife, but I'm also finding women even pre perimenopause. So even, mid 30s, late 30s, the, like I said, eat less, move more concept is just not working anymore. It doesn't address the root cause. There is some women out there, so I'm not saying this is everyone. My women that I like to speak to are not the ones who could just eat less and move more and maintain a nice healthy weight. It is about our food choices. And usually the root cause is metabolic issues. And once you understand that and a little bit of the science, it's a lot easier to move forward. And one of those metabolic paths that get, because it's not broken, that maybe just get dysregulated, is our blood sugar and insulin. That was mentioned a lot this past week at the conference. Is insulin resistance is becoming so much more prevalent because of the processed food and the food we eat. So when we eat carbs, whether it's honey in the coffee, whether it's a banana, an orange, a cracker, bread, any carb that you eat, the body's natural response is to produce blood sugar. Let's backtrack. Once you eat the carbs, your blood sugar raises. Our body's natural response is to raise insulin. Insulin lowers blood sugar. Insulin is also our fat storing hormone. So when your blood sugar rises, insulin rises. In a healthy metabolic pathway, insulin lowers blood sugar and you go on about your way. It's just a natural pathway. That's how our bodies are designed to work. For women with insulin resistance, cells don't respond properly to the insulin. So the body has to produce more insulin to try to get the glucose into the cells, and even more and more insulin it takes to get the glucose into the cells. And the more insulin you have, the more fat storage. Not only does insulin cause fat storage, it also kind of triggers that energy crash, our brain fog, cravings, fat storage. Most insulin resistant individuals will have a tendency to store more belly fat. And so maybe in like the core and in the hip region. So if, you do have a little bit of insulin resistance, you're probably more likely to store fat in the belly area and in the hips. And then you're just exhausted all the time because our body's not utilizing the glucose we're providing it. So you're tired all the time. And like that's what I said, the brain fog, all of those things. And then you're craving more because you're tired. You have the brain fog. Your body thinks you need more glucose. And then it's a vicious cycle you're stuck in. That is not necessarily aging. Yes, as we get older, we do have a higher chance of becoming insulin resistant, but I'm seeing it so much more often in my younger women and men as well. But ideally, I usually coach women. So if there's any males on here, I do apologize. It's habit that I say women, but I do coach men as well. So it's not just a natural part of aging, it's how our body is just not functioning properly. So, here are, let me go over like five probably, I don't want to say symptoms. Well, I guess symptoms that we can say that are prevalent in people with insulin resistant. You have the afternoon crash, and maybe not necessarily just afternoon, but after you eat a big carb filled meal, do you usually crash? Um, do you crave sugar right after meals, even though you just ate? You want that something sweet. You get very, they call it hangry, where you're irritable, anxious, or shaky when your meals are delayed, or is it really hard for you to fast and skip meals? The afternoon brain fog, and then your sleep's disrupted. Those are just a few of those things that will possibly lead to insulin, not lead to insulin resistance. That's some of just the signs of possible blood sugar instability. So let me know if any of you guys have any of these things. And which one probably relates the most. I know for me, I feel like my blood sugar is a little more regulated now and insulin is under control, but I still feel, depending on what I eat, my that 2 p.m. crash, which is also could be cortisol. That's another cycle we'll get into shortly. But I've gotten better at fasting. My sleep's better, my brain fog's better, just because I have been working for over 11 years on this. My youngest turned 11 in January, and probably about a month or two, give it 2 months, 2 months after I had her, she was born in January. By probably March of 2015, I was pretty set and I had it in my mind. I had every sign, symptom that I was insulin resistant. And I took that day and made a decision that moving forward, this was the lifestyle that I wanted. And I now know it's my lifestyle. Anyone who knows me and is around me, it is truly my lifestyle. And this is how I live on a day-to-day basis. And I'm trying to teach my kids the same thing. So once you learn this information, just remember this is information. What you did not know before this moment is that there's nothing we can do about it. What you can do now is take this information and move forward with it. So the next thing we'll talk a little bit. So we've talked about blood sugar and cortisol. Those are my two biggest things that I want to talk about real quick. I know I kind of went a little long on blood sugar. So let's talk cortisol and then how I'm going to tie this into food choices, and then we'll go into the lifting part of this. Um, like I mentioned earlier, when I first had, after my first child, it was binge on the weekends, super restricted during the weeks. And so it was super restrictive. And then the binge really hurt my cortisol levels because it put more stress on my body. So of course, you have the stress of having your first child, a newborn. Then they get a little bit older, and then that's when you want to try to lose the weight. And the super restrictive and binge, all it did was hurt my body more than it helped. Did I lose some weight? Yes, I was able to get the baby weight off. But knowing now what I did in my late 20s, how it's affecting me in my early 40s. So that's what I want you to understand. Again, what I did not know then, I cannot change. Now that I know better, I can do better moving forward. So an example of like the cycle I went through. So Monday morning I get up, spend at least an hour and a half in the gym, maybe hit it twice a day. So, twice a day on a Monday, you super restrictive, eat, what, 1,000 calories as I'm working out for almost 2 hours. Yeah, make that make sense. Then so you feel really good. I'm like, okay, it's Monday, we got this. And so I stay strong, super restrictive, low calorie, gym twice a day, and then super restricted. Then the weekend comes. I could probably stay pretty good on the Friday, but then Saturday comes. I go to the gym, work hard on a Saturday morning. Then I'm like, all right, I worked out on a Saturday. Let's start the binge, whether it was alcohol drinks, poor food choices, do it all day, probably eat bad Saturday night, Sunday morning, not feel good because I've eaten bad and had drinks on the Saturday, binge eat, sleep, not move much on the Sunday. Sunday night feel horrible because I did the binge eating, didn't move my body, and then Monday the cycle started again. So I just thought that's how my body was, and I thought that's the extremes I needed to do, and I just thought, oh, I'm just extreme, I got to do it. And it's not really, and it's not a willpower either. I think if I would have known what I was doing to my body, I would have had a better possibility of making better choices, but I just did not know any better then. And it wasn't a character issue either. It's not just because I didn't have the motivation or willpower on the Saturdays and Sundays. And now it's led to a hormonal response. There's some weekends that you have a tendency to want to eat and make poorer food choices, but I know how my body feels. But there's so many women out there that do not recognize those patterns. So you eat, you binge, you feel guilty. You eat, you binge, and feel guilty. And that's what I want you to understand, that that's even worse for your body than these poor habits. So the cortisol is actually your stress hormone. So we do need the stress hormone. You do not want to have no cortisol. It is very important, but it's just a signal. When you use the signal, so when you're elevated cortisol, so when your cortisol is elevated, our blood sugar goes up even without eating, drives fat storage, disrupts sleep, and intensifies the cravings for the food you're trying to avoid. So when you're more stressed, more cortisol, you're craving the sugary, the salty, the foods that you're trying to avoid. And then the cycle starts again. You eat it, and then you binge. So it's binge, restrict, binge, restrict. And that's really not what our body needs. And this is not a weakness. Willpower cannot override a hormonal response. So when your cortisol is high, it's going to affect your blood sugars no matter what you eat. So just make sure, if stress is, try to maintain stress. I do have some ideas for lowering stress. So if you feel like you need some tips on lowering your cortisol, comment cortisol and I can send you that handout. And a lot of times us, and I'm going to say us because I feel like I'm a high functioning female woman. I, own my own business. I have kids, trying to run a household. Those are usually the women who come to me most exhausted and most stuck because they're often surrounded with the highest functioning women around as well. They're managing everything. They don't stop. I feel it's gotten a little bit later, but I do feel like that hustle culture really got some of us who are in our, early 40s, early 50s. We just believed that the more we hustle, I guess our worth was more. And now we're coming to realize that's not worth it, because all that does is puts the stress on our body, and it's so bad for our bodies that to rest and regulate is so much more important. So back to my high functioning women, it looks like success from the outside, but it can create those chronic cortisol loads that work directly against your metabolic health. So once again, your body's not broken. It's just responding to the wrong signals. So what does it look like when you stop hitting that wall, when you stop fighting your body. That's where my framework comes in. I've created something called the ease framework. Um, so let's think about this. It's Monday afternoon, 2 p.m. And instead of hitting that 2 p.m. crash, your energy's still there. You have a clear mind. You're functional. You're full of energy. You had dinner last night. You didn't track really much of anything, but you felt satisfied. You didn't negotiate with yourself after. You ate, you fueled your body, and then you were done. You woke up without the alarm. I mean, if your alarm wakes you up, you don't have that dread. And you slept throughout the whole night. This is not a fantasy. This is actually what you are capable of. You can survive and not have those 2 p.m. crashes. You can eat dinner tonight and not feel guilty tomorrow morning when you wake up, but you could not binge after you had dinner tonight also. And so, what I'm going to go over a little bit is my ease framework. And then in the ease framework, I will also talk about movement, which is so important. So let's go through ease. E is for my essential nutrition. Most of my women who I work with, because of cortisol levels and blood sugar levels, we all have a tendency to usually stick to a lower carb, higher protein meal plan. Protein is going to keep you fuller longer. It's going to control blood sugar spikes. It's also going to help regulate your cortisol. So there's many things high protein is so beneficial for. Guys, for since 2010, when I graduated and started working in weight loss, I have been preaching 30 grams of protein 3 times a day. If you take anything else from this, you need 30 grams of protein 3 times a day. There's my little tip. There's your one takeaway. So put in the comments 30 grams of protein 3 times a day. That's what our goal is. Then A is achievable movement. You want to find a workout that supports your metabolism, not stresses it. So there's things like Pilates, yoga, resistance training. I'm a huge, huge advocate of resistance training. Resistance training builds muscle quicker. The more muscle we have, the better our bone structure is. So you reduce bone osteoporosis. Had a little brain freeze right there. So the more muscle we have, the better it is for our bones. So bone density, I couldn't get those words out. So the more muscle we have, it does protect against bone density. You're stronger, you feel better, you're fueling your body to get those workouts in. And the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn at rest. So we have on 150-pound to 150-pound women. One has a 30% or 40% body fat, and one has 25% body fat. This female with 25% body fat burns more calories sitting at rest. So me sitting here with a lower body fat percentage and more muscle, I am burning more calories sitting here doing this webinar for you guys than somebody sitting watching my webinar who has a 35% body fat. I am burning more calories just sitting here because of the more muscle. So it is super, super important to have muscle. Us women will not become bulky. That was the biggest thing I always hear. You're not going to, becoming bulky is probably the biggest thing. Most women, when you're doing weight training, you will become long and lean. That's how I like to, of course, you won't be long. I have not gotten any longer since doing all my resistance training. I wish it worked, but I feel like the muscles are more long and lean doing the resistance training. And you can use gym equipment. You can do dumbbells. You can do barbells. You can do body weight. You can do resistance bands. There's so many options out there, guys. Cardio is good, but for women, especially midlife women or anyone overweight, it just puts more stress on your body when you start doing a lot of cardio. So the stress is just not good for our body anyway when doing the cardio. If you're at an optimal weight and you feel good, joints are good. Then if it's not putting too much stress on your body, cardio is great. But for most of my women starting off, I want you doing resistance training at least 3 to 4 times a week. And let me know if you need a workout plan. Put fitness in the comments. And I have some at-home workouts for you guys I can send over. So now I'm going to get on my little tangent with my movement. So our E's, we have essential nutrition, achievable movement. Then S is for simple systems. I'm not asking you to completely create havoc on your life. I want you to create a plan that works for you and your lifestyle. So for example, there may be 3 different types of women listening to this today. So there's me. I have middle school and high schoolers at home. The next lady sitting on the side of me may be, no kids at home and only has to prepare food for herself. And then the third woman sitting on the side of us is taking care of elderly parents, and she's having to cook for herself and for her parents, or herself and her spouse. So there's 3 completely different types. Some of us may run our own business. Some of them, work an 8 to 5. There's so many different routines. So if I put out one meal plan and told all 50 of us who listen to this webinar, we all follow the same plan, do you think it would work for all 50 of us? Yeah, I don't think so either. It doesn't. I've coached hundreds of thousands of women through different parts of their lives, and I can create you a system that's going to work for you because I can tell you a structured plan. You can go to ChatGPT, you can go to Claude. You can create the most perfect plan, but if it does not fit your lifestyle, it's just not going to work. Ask me how much cauliflower I've thrown away from 2015 to probably 2018 once I finally realized I don't like it. But guess what? Everybody substituted cauliflower for rice and cauliflower for this. I'm like, I'm going to like it. I'm going to like it. Guys, I didn't like it. So I could create meals and recipes and all these things with cauliflower. But if I didn't like it, it don't work. So you have to find things that work for you. And then the last thing is empowered results. At the end of the process, you want to feel empowered, not defeated. I don't like the word defeated because I can see women. I don't like using the word. I can see their emotions when they just feel defeated. I am here to empower you. I know you can do this. And I have plenty of tools in my toolbox that I am able to help you and empower you on this journey to find a system that works for you. And yes, I really also believe, guys, it takes all the above. It's going to take nutrition, it takes mindset, and it takes fitness. I don't feel like you can do one without the other. And I think God has worked through me these past 15 years going from weight loss, but I had just the weight loss part. And then I was doing just fitness for a little while. And then I realized it's so much more than that. And now that I have taken over VibraFit and I own VibraFit, I have a fitness studio. So not only do I teach fitness all day long, but guess what? My women are coming to me and asking me nutrition questions, protein, all of the things. So I'm able to now combine my nutrition and my fitness together. And that's what I also do in the online world. Ooh, can't say that very fast too often. So online, I'm also able to create workouts for you. I'm able to create meal plans, and I'm able to help with the mindset because it really does take all 3 of them together. And that's how I've kind of developed the whole ease framework, because it really takes a little bit of everything. And then now, I mean, we could get sciencey in this, but understanding how your body really works, it really does take, all the above. So we've been talking for about 30 minutes now. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me check and see if we have any questions. I'm definitely too distracted, so I can't have my phone up and watch my comments as I'm talking. One day I'll be good enough to do that, but I had to turn my notifications off. Text messages were coming through, and I couldn't even do that. Okay, so yes, Alex, I'm glad you can relate to a lot of this and the 30 grams 3 times a day. And guys, listen, sometimes that 30 grams, even for me, is hard 3 times a day. I usually easily get 30 grams twice, but that third time can be a challenge. So, taking all this information, hormones and resistance training. So, that's where I decided the lift. So we're going to talk about lifting, the resistance training. We want to live longer. Longevity definitely entails taking care of your hormones and your body and muscle. Muscle and protein, guys, are right now our keys to longevity. Like I told you earlier, for since 2010, I've been preaching protein, protein, protein. I have felt it in my gut since then. Protein was the key to longevity. And when you throw resistance training into that, you can let go of all these past ideas. And we think it has to be hard. Make it easy, guys. Protein and resistance training. And we got this with our simple system. So this all sounds good, right? You create you a meal plan, you create you a workout plan, and then where do you even go? Here's what I know about the information. It changes how you feel when you apply it. When there's structure behind it, remember those simple systems. And when somebody is alongside of you, walking the walk, talking the talk, explaining. And that's why I feel like I can help so many women, is because I am walking the walk. So I can tell you what I do in my daily habits to help you find your systems. And so what I'm about to share with you is for the women in the room who is ready for that today, not someday, not next week. You're ready for it now. And if you're still here, you're not here by accident. You've watched my videos, you've showed up, we've talked about protein made simple. So what I've done is built a program that ties all of this together. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's called Restore and Regulate with Ease. It's an 8-week group coaching program. And what we will do in the next 8 weeks, you will have 4 live weekly group coaching calls. Well, we can work through kind of like what you're going through during the week and help you stick to the plan better. You will also have 8 short videos. So each week you get a new video with a kind of like a training. So you'll get the video that's a slight training. With the training, it'll be a surprise. I have handouts, I have recipes, I have all kinds of goodies each week, depending on the topic, is what goodie you will get. You will also have an 8-week, it's more of a 3-week, 3-6-9. So you're really getting like a 9-week you can cycle. So it's 3 weeks of workouts that you just keep repeating. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I didn't do the math on that very well, guys. But so I have a 3-week program that you just repeat 3 times, and that'll get you through the 8 weeks. Like I said, we'll have weekly educational videos so you can understand what's going on. And that's why I'll give you a video. You'll work through the week. You'll get video 2, work through it, and then we'll have a call so you can implement. So I don't want you to go through the whole 8 weeks and you're not implementing because you're missing a small piece of week 1. We'll go through 2 weeks and have a call, 2 weeks and have a call, so that we can see what's going on. When we start, you will also get a quiz. So I have a quiz for you. You'll go over the quiz. So week 1, we're really going to go over your quiz answers. We'll have a small community inside of Facebook that we can all talk. So it'll be very small. It's only for the people, the individuals in the 8-week coaching program. And you will also get a ease reset guidelines. So I'll give you the PDF as well. And for anyone who purchases this week, it also will include my 60-day reset bundle, which is a 60-day soft reset guide. You will get a meal plan, you have snacks, and there's a wellness journal in there. So anyone who joins this week, all of that's going to be included. So this is over $1,000 bundle with the weekly videos, with the group coaching calls. So, originally it could be priced at $9.97. I'm not going to do that. So if this is something you're thinking about, let me know. It's not going to be $9.97. Drop me in the comments if you're interested in this. I do have it set at $297 for the 8 weeks, but for this first week only, you will get it for $197. So instead of $997, you will get it for $197. So drop me in the comments if you are ready to start feeling better and understand why your body is feeling like it is. So it doesn't defeat you every day. You now know, and then you can show up better. If you show up these next 8 weeks, you watch your videos, complete the modules, attend the calls, implement the framework, and you don't feel like a meaningful shift in your energy, in your relationship with food, reach out and let me know, because there's something missing, because I'm pretty confident of what this program does. So if if we're doing 8 weeks, in 30 days, you're not feeling a difference, I need to know, because there's going to be a small shift that we will need to make. I am limiting this to the first 10 women who signed up at this price. So if you want it for $197, comment me or send me a DM. Send me a DM. We can talk through it. I can show you some of the work of what we will be going through. But guys, I want you to feel what it feels like to feel good, if that makes sense. We want you to feel good. You do not know how bad you are feeling until you start feeling good. And that's my goal. And that's why I created 8 weeks of this. Your first week is going to be, it was a 6-week program. Your first week, we're going to do our quiz and we're really going to get started. And then we have 8 weeks together to get you feeling the best you can feel. So if anybody have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And there's one last thing I'd like to tell you guys. If you've been working incredibly hard with incomplete information and you have been blaming yourself for your results, let me tell you this. Tonight, you got the information, and now what you do with this information is up to you. If working with me feels right, and if it feels like it's the next step, I would love to have you in the program. Send me a message. Let's talk through it. If you need more time, that's fine. Think about it and let me know. Either way, just let me know. And remember, you're doing this for you, whether you're taking care of kids, yourself, a spouse, an aging parent. You have got to take care of yourself first. I truly believe us women do not know how to take care of ourselves first. So remember, take care of yourself first so that you can take care of others. If anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat. If not, the weekly commitment to the 8 weeks is you'll have daily commitments, because if you're doing your food, your exercise, but to actually watch the video, it's going to be short 10-minute videos, if even that long each week. We will do probably a 30 to 45-minute call every 2 weeks. You do not need a gym. You don't even need equipment. We can design plans for body weight and things such as that, so you don't even need equipment. Um, and after the 8 weeks, you should have a good framework, and then we'll just figure out how to move forward. I am so excited you joined me here tonight. I really want you guys to learn to we're going to live longer and let go. We're not losing the weight, we're letting it go and letting it go for good. So we want you to live longer, and let go. Let go of all those old patterns. And remember, I'm here for you. If I have any questions, please feel free to DM me, and I will see you guys later.